Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Oxygen Not Included. I am Dynamite, and today I'm gonna try to show you how to start a prosperous colony. Now, last time, the previous, let's say, guide actually took me a while. It's, I think, almost like 30 minutes. We've explained the creation of the colonists, the first colonists, we've explained the UI, but we haven't actually started the colony itself. So this is the thing I'm gonna try to do today. The basic concept of today: get them some rooms, get them some toilets, start doing research, and start farming. Those are the 4 things that we need to, and also we need to get some oxygen. So that's like 5 things. The 5 things that we need to do in order to start like a prosperous working colony. This is the Terra asteroid, by the way, the most simple one, and the one that I think is the best suited for beginning when you actually begin your adventure with Oxygen Not Included. So I'm gonna try to keep this thing simple, but then again there's like a few things that I need to explain for you. Basically, when it comes to building bases, what I do is that I build a tower. So imagine that the portal over here is the central core of the tower itself. Like imagine that there's gonna be a gigantic tower over here, surrounded by like smaller towers around. Those are gonna be the other facilities, but the core of the base is gonna be the most important things, the things that are necessary for the colonist to survive. By the way, if you didn't watch the previous one, I've mentioned this thing, and I'm gonna probably mention this thing a few more times. When it comes to making duplicates, when it comes to picking the duplicates that you want in your colony, remember that first look into the negative traits. If the negative traits are like something like, let's say, a colonist that will eat more, or a colonist that will breathe more, then try to avoid those colonists. Also, a colonist that cannot carry much is also like a bad choice. So first look into the bad traits, and if you see some of the bad traits that are, like, as I said, using more resources or basically being completely useless, then completely discard that colonist from your colony. Right now I got myself 3 colonists. I think we've set up the not this thing, I think we set up the priorities last time. No, we did not. So Guzman over here is gonna be our researcher. We need to actually have a dedicated researcher at the beginning. Ashkan over here is gonna be our digger, and Devon over here is gonna be our cook and our farmer. I don't think there's farming anywhere over here. Tidying, I cannot, there's farming, okay. So there you go. Those are the colonists that we're gonna begin. I think this is the most important things that you need to cover at the beginning. You need to have a dedicated farmer, that's for sure, and try to get a dedicated researcher, just like to speed up the beginning of the development. Now, you can't really build anything because we don't have resources, right? I can just maybe try to put some blueprints. Nope, I can't. I need to get the resources first. So when you begin building the colony, try to look around and try to get like a basic idea of what is what. So as you can see over here, we got a bunch of water down here. The thing is, do not pollute the water, because if you're gonna pollute the water, it's gonna be a pain in the ass to take over that pollution, take it out. Especially at the very beginning of the game when you don't have filters. And that's like just gonna take a necessary workforce from your colony. So try to keep the water at the beginning clean as that is humanly possible, especially with piss. What I mean by that is that at the beginning of the colony, at the very first cycle, what you need to do, the first thing that you need to do is that you need to build a toilet. If you want to build a toilet by the end of the cycle, your colonists will piss themselves. And if that piss will get to your clean water supply, well, let's say it this way, you won't have an immediate problem with that thing, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass to later on fix. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is this thing over here, oxalate. This is the block that produces oxygen at the very beginning. Don't trust this thing for long, because this thing is gonna deplete and you have to worry about making your very own oxygen supply. But for now you have this thing. Just do not dig this thing out. If you do, you're gonna waste the entire oxygen that this thing can create. So just don't touch it, leave it there, it's gonna disappear on its own, alright? Also, those bugs over here, they produce natural light. And your colonists really enjoy natural light because that increases their mood. So try not to kill those things, okay? Those things are actually really useful. Unexpect one thing. If those things will fly next to your colonists when they are sleeping, then they're gonna wake up your colonists. So try to avoid that thing as well. Alright, so time to get into digging. because we need to get some resources. So as you can see, I've designed like a simple rooms over here. Technically, don't worry about this thing for now, okay? Because this is gonna be the place where I'm gonna build like additional bedrooms later on. So this is what I do. I did this thing back in the early access version, and I kind of hope that this thing still works. So each one of my colonists is gonna have technically like a dedicated toilet. Or we're gonna try to put like 2 people per toilet. I don't know. We're gonna see. The basic idea is now that you're gonna have 1 person per toilet. So that basically won't spread any pollution around the colony itself. So the actual bedroom is over here, the toilet is over here, the entrance is over here, and this is what I do. This is like a tunnel, like a vertical tunnel that I do, and this is supposed to connect like different floors around the colony. Of course, don't do something like this for now, because we need to focus on getting the toilet out as soon as that is humanly possible, along with some washing machines, because you don't want to really spread the germs around the colony. Also, try to avoid those cracks for now, because there could be either 2 things over there. Either it's gonna be like some food, or it's gonna be like a critter that actually is gonna try to eat all of your resources. Well, it's gonna try to eat some of the resources. It's not exactly bad, but then again, if he's gonna try to eat algae at the beginning, or he's gonna try to eat, let's say, copper, then probably you're gonna be really mad about that thing. So for now, allow them to dig out the beginning of the colony. We need to start like digging this thing out. We have to build the toilets, because as I said, this is the most important thing at the beginning at least. And later on, we also have to build like dedicated storage. I'm gonna build like a bunch of storages over here as soon as they're gonna finish off digging. And we're gonna put into that storage all the resources that I have, so I won't have to worry about actually, you know, losing resources due to some critter that decided it's gonna be a really good snack. So I hope you get the idea. You're gonna dig out this thing through. I'm gonna build like a few storage containers over here, and remember to dig this thing out as well. There we go. Okay, beautiful. So we got 1 cracker over here, so try to not dig it out. The rest of this thing is safe. Remember that there's sand over here, so the sand will actually collapse on the faces of your colonists. So try to stay away from that thing for the time being. Okay, I want to put algae in this container. Algae is gonna be really necessary at the beginning to make oxygen. And I want to put sandstone over here. And the third one is gonna be probably for copper. I didn't mine it out any copper yet, but that thing is gonna change very soon. We have a few supplies in the ration box. We have 16,000 calories. So that should last me for like around, I think, 5 days or something like that. So we have to establish actual farming before we're gonna run out of resources, out of food exactly. You'll see. Of metal, that is sandstone. Cultivated soil is dirt. Okay, I think I can collect dirt as well over here. There we go. Now, increase priority of this thing, because we really need to speed up the process. Come on, boys! Build me this. Don't worry about the decor at the beginning of the game, because your colonists, when they begin their adventure in the new colony on a new asteroid, then basically they get like a buff, because you start like a new colony. It works exactly the same way as in a new world. When you start a new colony, they get like this 1 of a time buff that increases their moods, so you don't have to worry about that much of this about stress for now. But later on, yeah, later on that thing could be a problem. Also, another reason why it's a good idea to build the storage bins is because if you're gonna actually go into the decor thing, as you can see over here, the lying around materials is minus 27 of the decor. So yeah, even though that you have the buff is not that good. It's good to keep like peace of mind at the very beginning, but it's not good if you're gonna all of a sudden send your colonists instead of a volcano. I hope you get the idea. So by building this storage over here and storing all of the resources they dig out, I will be able to save some of my decor stats. Also, yeah, you need some time before the oxygen actually will go inside of this room. So don't worry about that they have to hold their breath. You know, oxygen is slowly crawling inside over here, as you can see, like very slowly. So don't worry about that. Okay, we need to get 1 more of those. Now, since we have some room now, this is what I normally do. I built 2 toilets, maybe not like this. I built 2 toilets, the outhouses, and then next to it, we need to go to the medicine thing and we need to build the wash basin. This is kinda important. So build 2 of those as well over here. This thing will be necessary to keep the clean around the colony, like the germs. The germs could actually be a real threat to you. So try to keep that thing clean. And of course, increase priority over here. So they're gonna build this thing really quick. So since we got the outhouses and the washing basins, we need to now provide it with water. So we got some water over here. We just have to dig to it. Let's see. I think I can try to dig to this one over here. So let's dig out this thing like this. And we're gonna have access. Okay, this is sand, so try not to destroy the sand. Cancel this and do something like this. I'm not exactly sure what's over here, so maybe it would be like a good idea to first build the platform. Oh no, actually I have to destroy the tell anyway. Either it's gonna be like a critter over there, or it's gonna be like some food. Either is really useful at the beginning of the colony. So since my colonists are digging out this thing, let's talk about the wash basin. Now, the thing is, your colonists are not that brain. Well, they're not that smart. They're actually quite dumb if you think about that. They only understand simple orders. So that means when it comes to hygiene, you need to explain them that thing. You need to explain them the basics of hygiene. So when they use the outhouses, they have to go next to those washing bins over here. Now, you can see those arrows. Those arrows indicate that if a colonist will go from the right side to the left or from the left to the right, then he's gonna wash his hands over here. Of course, if the basin is actually free. So you need to build the same amounts of toilet as you have the wash basins. You can build more toilets, or you can try to build more of those. But then again, you risk the chance that the germs will spread around in your colony. And also building like more wash basins is basically like a waste of resources in my opinion. But anyway, the thing is, you need to actually change this thing. So you click this arrow, this button over here, and you change the direction of the arrow. That means that if a colonist will now go from the left side to the right side, he's gonna have to wash his hands over here. And that will help you keep the germs in check from using the outhouse. Later on, of course, you get like better means of hygiene, but for now we have to work with this. And also I see that the game is very generous since it's dropping like a lot of seeds for me, so that's gonna be useful for later on farming. Okay, we got access to the water, so let's build ourselves like a pump over here. The pump at the beginning is the only means of getting water, so yeah, it could be a bit of a difficulty, but don't you worry, we got this. Okay, we got some more resources over here as well. I need to think where exactly I'm gonna build the beds at the beginning. Let's see. I could try to put a door over here so that this room, this cave actually, will count as an actual toilet and will give additional bonuses to morale to my colony. So that's actually a good idea. We can also try to build some basic beds. Let's see, that's in the furniture section. Now, one of my colonists is a loud sleeper, so we need to put him away from the other colonists. Otherwise, his snoring is gonna wake up everybody. So let's do something like this. Actually, no, because these shiny bugs can try to enter this section, so we need to also make a door over here. But then again, I don't have enough space, so let's do something like this. And then make a storage container over here. And because now they're using the toilet... No, don't use the toilets yet. I want you to build this. This is the most important part, and you really need to build the pump and get me water to the wash basins. Otherwise, it's gonna be a real big issue. So try not to piss yourselves and really try to get the water, okay? I've used the alarm, the red alarm thingy. Basically, it forces the duplicants to get to work. Let's see how my colonists are doing. At the moment, the bladder is on 84%. So she is delivering water, like such, and deliver the water to the other one as well, if you could. There you go, water is getting delivered. So as soon as the water will get delivered to the other basin, we're gonna turn off the red alarm so they can take care of their needs. So, you know, take a piss, eat something, and so on and so forth. Just wait for the water. Just wait for the water. There you go. Actually, that didn't work. Try to load this thing into the way. Thank you. Okay, now we can turn off the alarm. That was close. They almost pissed themselves. And as you can see over here, they're actually like washing their hands, using the toilets. So now everybody's happy. We didn't piss our base, so the germs remain in check. As you can see over here in the gem overlay. Oh, some actually germs managed to get over here. But they're gonna die out very quickly because there's like only 113 germs over here. So that should not be that big of a problem. It's actually increasing a little tiny bit, but that's still okay. Like, if you won't use this storage bin over here, everything should be okay. Like the germs are slowly dying off. Like the food germs cannot actually sustain themselves on like a solid surface, I guess. With the need for piss and the need for sleep taken care of, we still have like a bit of a supply. So now we need to build ourselves like an actual workshop. Workshop where we're gonna try to develop some research. Once the workshop is actually like ready, the space for the workshop itself, you have to build yourself a power generator, a battery, a research station, and having an oxygen production is like bonus points. But then again, we still have those things around the colony, so I can just try to build it but turn it off for the time being. Now, the thing is, try to build the cables and the pipes in the flooring, because if you're gonna build cables, let's say like this, then this is negative morale for the colonists. You're probably like wondering why the hell I worry so much about the negative morale. The thing is, each one of your colonists have something like a breakpoint. If his morale is gonna drop too low, the point is that he's not gonna die, but he will do something very nasty. So it depends on the colonists. Each one of them is got something different. So for example, this one over here has the binge eater, which means that if his stress level will go too high, then he will go on an eating rampage. Ashken over here also has the same trait, so that means they're gonna eat from my supplies like crazy. Guzman over here, on the other hand, she's a vomiter. So that means if the stress level will go too high, then she's gonna vomit. She's gonna vomit polluted water. And you remember what I said about polluting your water supplies. So one way is to actually securing your water, like your natural water tank, I would say, is that you need to secure it like this. Water can go up. It has to fill first this hole over here in order to overflow and fill my natural like water tank. Right, so this is why I have built something like this, and I make like this additional hole over here. If like, let's say if Goodman would stand here and she's gonna vomit, or she's gonna stand here and vomit, then the polluted water will go here, or they're gonna piss themselves. The polluted water will go here, and because the entire game is physics based, then the polluted water will first have to gather in this hole over here. So technically my water should be safe for the time being. And my research center along with my power supply have been built. So now we can actually provide the research center with some power. The research tab have been unlocked. So go over here, and long and behold, the research tree of oxygen not included. You may think that this is not much. Maybe you think this is much. I don't know. It all depends on the player. However, there are a few things at the very beginning that you need to focus on. Well, things I think it would be a good idea to focus on. For example, the basic farming and meal preparation. Those are like the first two good things to start. Later on, I kind of like recommend to get yourself like a water cooler, which will increase the morale of your colonists. And of course, playing with the liquids, because this is the thing we all love in oxygen, not included. It's playing with liquids and gases. Like, that's the biggest fun. So, as I said, for now we need to worry about food, okay? Those things over here will be very helpful. You get the algae terrarium, which can consume algae to produce oxygen from carbon dioxide. You get yourself a compost, which takes the polluted dirt from your toilets and transforms that thing back into dirt. You have the planter box, which can grow plants, obviously. You have the ration box, where you can store food. Don't keep in mind that this is not a freezer, which means your food can spoil. You need to actually have a proper refrigerator, or find like a frozen biome, because physics are like a thing in this game. And then the next one, you have the electric grill, mass table, egg cracker, and a farm tile, which is actually built inside of the floor. So let's get those two things at the beginning. And later on, we're gonna probably try to get the water cooler to get some bonus morale points. And after a few minutes, you get yourself the first research done, which is the basic farming, which is very good to have. So now we can actually get yourselves into proper farming and building like a compost. I think I'm gonna build my compost like far away over here, because this thing produces polluted oxygen. Not much, just a little, but let's be honest, over here nobody wants to sleep next to a compost dumpster, right? So we got the planter box. Obviously, it will probably better to just wait for the farms, because they will like just better. I think, at least in my opinion, like the planter box is not that good. So I could try to wait, I think, one more cycle to get those things. Actually, no. We have to get this thing, if I'm gonna be correct. We have eaten through most of our supply. 16,000. Yeah, so during the next cycle, we should be able to unlock the farms. So actually we should probably try to prepare the farming field over here. Obviously, if you really want to, you can just go to the food and build yourself like a planter box over here. But as I say, I want to wait for the farming tile to actually build on that thing instead of trying to build in the planting box. Now, in the meantime, our portal has activated again and we can pick ourselves a new colonists. Or we could try to pick ourselves a care package, which is also like nice. Oxy-fraying seed. I'm not exactly sure what this plant is. So let's actually take a look into our colonists. Remember what I said at the beginning. You first look at the disadvantages. Then you look for the advantages of each colonist. So this one farts. It outputs natural gas. I would prefer not to have this thing in the colony. This one cannot do cooking. And apparently he completely does not mind what he eats. He either would just get a bonus morale point. This one is a loud sleeper. So that means we would have to prepare her a separated room. For the time being, we don't exactly have time. So let's just take the care package and get ourselves like a lovely little seed that we can just put inside of the box for the time being. Now we're getting a bit of a problem when it comes to oxygen. So let's activate our oxygen diffuser over here. And this thing will begin the production of oxygen. As soon as it's gonna get actually some power and some algae, there you go. So this thing will now produce a tremendous amount of oxygen. But keep in mind it's gonna use algae, so we have to take care of this thing probably during next time. In the meantime, you can also try to look around for seeds. So how you do this thing? You look for the cracks. Remember that the cracks can still contain creatures that could possibly eat your resources, so you need to keep this thing in mind just in case. You really don't want to lose. See, for example, like this guy over here. This is the one guy I was talking about. He will eat dirt, but then again he's gonna produce coal from you. So coal is actually like necessary with the actual first automated power production. And our research is about to get complete very soon. In the meantime, I also want to build myself the ration box down here. Where exactly? You're gonna find out very soon. And let's just complete with the farming tiles over here. For the science, for the research, as I said, now let's try to focus on the water cooler. So we're gonna get some bonus morals. We're gonna build ourselves a farm over here. Now, why I've built the ration box over here? As I said, the food preservation, the ration box, is not exactly the best idea right now. Food will basically spoil unless you're gonna freeze it. Or put it in a sterile condition. Which is why I'm digging out this hole over here. Basically, the gases in oxygen not included go with the physics rules. Well, there are some rules of the physics here. Carbon dioxide is heavy, so it's gonna go down. Hydrogen that you can later on use as a source of power, like a fuel for your power generators, is light, so it's gonna go up. Oxygen and polluted oxygen will stay in the middle. So this is basically using the physics for my own advantage. So since carbon dioxide is gonna gather over here, this area becomes sterile. So that means that even though that this thing is not freezing, my food will spoil a bit slower. Now remember to plant the mealwood seeds, the seeds that you use at the very beginning, and then you just have to build yourself a macro masher from the food section, and you can create yourself something called the lease loaf. This is your basic food at the beginning of the game. You can also try to use the mush bar. Not really recommend, because in order to make this thing, you're just using dirt. Your colonists are literally eating dirt and water. Not really recommending. Sometimes you see natural growing mealwood. It would be probably a good idea to leave it be, because this thing would just like grow naturally. But then again, if you're gonna plant it in a farm, it's gonna take 3 cycles to grow. And if this thing is growing naturally, it's gonna take 12 cycles to grow. Also, we have found more used seeds over here. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and along with some additional fruits, which is very nice. And I really don't know why my colonists are digging this thing. Oh, it's because I forgot to put this thing on priority number 1. And by mistake, we also have found a hatch. So we have to secure all of those resources immediately. And as you can see over here, we had our very first harvest. So that means that the colony will now survive at the remaining of 5,000 calories. I've actually got myself like a new colorist, but that's completely not important right now. So yeah, this is the basics of the colony. We have oxygen, we have water. Well, water will eventually run out, so we have to worry about finding ourselves like a proper source of water very soon. But we got food, we got electricity, we got toilets, we got rooms. So it's progressing. I've even managed to make like a bonus thingy and make myself like a proper food container, I guess. Because as you can see over here, sterile atmosphere. Microbes destroying conditions have decreased. This food decaying rate because of the carbon dioxide. So yeah, physics. You can use the physics for your own advantage. Even the carbon dioxide can be used for something. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna leave this thing over here as it is. The next one is gonna be us trying to get like proper oxygen production, because this thing will not be able to supply all of this thing with oxygen. So we need to get like a bunch of research first. And also I have to probably prepare certain room for said devices. But that's gonna be the thing we're gonna try to do probably during next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Flag tips up, subs a lot. See you all in the next video.